Hey guys, LoRenz here. Welcome to another beat breakdown video. This will be about my latest single called VSP's Finest with myself and a dear friend of mine, also rapper Cokobe. I'll do the breakdown of how I came up with this beat, the idea, and all the production that came with this. So let's get to it. Yeah, you got a fair point. Let's do it. Show what VSP is about. To start off, nowadays, this year, when I compose beats, I try to find an inspiration first and foremost before starting a project. And as you can see here, it's a bit crazy because, like I said in my previous beat breakdown video, I'm making a beat per week, and I was on week 16th of my beat practice, and the day that I was working on this beat was April 13th. Sorry. Around that time, the project of Larry June, The Alchemist, and 2 Chainz's project Life is Beautiful had come out. Man, when I heard that album, I was just so inspired by the sounds, dirty, gritty, lo-fi sounds, and then you had the bars from 2 Chainz, Larry June, and then Alchemist with his classic voice samples and all his sound selection. Really, just wonderful production overall. So I was truly inspired in it. So what I did is, when I make those type of beats, I kind of listen to the BPM range, and most of the BPM range in that whole album is about 70 to 90. I had a song that I was inspired by. I think it was Life is Beautiful or Munyon Canyon. One of those 2 songs has a 79 BPM tempo. So I set the tempo at 79 BPM. And from then on, I established a key of the song. The reason why I established a key of the song, I established it in E minor. I really love the key of E minor. Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite keys, just because if you look at the scale, the only note in the scale that is sharpened is F sharp. So all the rest of the notes are white notes, and then you have F that is brought up by a sharp. So there you go. So that's why I chose that. So I already have the scale, so the notes that I know when I play together will sound good. So it really helps me as someone that really, is kind of beginner, intermediate in music production, to just stick to a range of notes that I know will sound good together. So where do we start? I started here with the flute sound. Really, you will notice in Life is Beautiful, in that whole project, the flute appears a lot. It appears in Life is Beautiful, and it's really that flute that inspired me. So I found this flute in Contact 7's library. Just normal settings here, and then let's play it. Really, in the background, beautiful sound. The sound raw itself is very clean. I wanted to add a bit more modulation despite it already having a good amount of vibrato. So I added a phaser. Mixed it in, has depth, and then I synced it to the tempo just to add a bit of movement. And then just to add that lo-fi sound, I added the vinyl plugin by Isotope 1970 setting. Really played with the mechanical and electrical noise. I honestly like when the lo-fi sound is just beautiful, right? So dirties up the sound, creates a vibe. From there, I then added the chords. The chords are always the hardest part to add, but in this case, and here's what's really cool with Pro Tools. Let's say if you play a key, in this example, I play E minor. With the MIDI controller that I have here, you will see the display of E minor appear here. But the chords that I play is E minor 7, and then I play G major 7. Oh, sorry. So wait, it goes here. E minor 7, and then G major 7. Going back to E minor 7. And then I went to A minor 7 here. A, C, E, G. Oh, sorry. Yeah, A minor 7. And then I played this like G minor, G major 6 with the 6th note here, okay, being E. So yeah, that's this chord sequence, and it just loops the whole song, right? So we go from here into G, come back to E minor 7, and then we go to A. That's it, and that loops all throughout the whole song. From there, I had to play drums, right? So the intro drum is the first part that I came with, and then the drums afterwards that I played in the verse is just a more simpler version of what I played in the intro. So basically, very simple hi-hat pattern, nothing too crazy. Really plays, I think, just simple 8 notes here. Yeah, just simple 8 notes. Then the kick is really stuck to the grid right here, C2. I'm gonna just solo those drums. Right. Oh, and by the way, sorry, sound selection is super important. The drum kits I like to use nowadays in my productions are from MPC, Akai MPC Beats plugin. This is also a standalone software when you buy an MPC keyboard, so you can have just the standalone and make it acts as a whole DAW, so you can make your whole music in here. Anyway, just to say that the beat that the kit that I chose here is Uncle Joe's kit that you can find in the hip hop library, and then you can find Uncle Joe's kit. Where is Uncle Joe's kit? Oh, here you go, Uncle Joe's kit right here. When I heard, and it's cool because it plays real when you click on the program itself. Akai displays outputs a demo of the program just to see the sounds that you get. If you listen to the kick, it's a kick with a hi-hat, and then the hi-hat has the snare has a delay that acts like almost as a snare roll, and then the hi-hat is almost like a combined hi-hat with a shaker, and it has a bit of like digital distortion. Actually, even the snare too has digital distortion. Really, the sound that came out of this kit was really phenomenal from the start. So yeah, I just programmed a pattern. I played a pattern with the kick and snare. The kick and snare. Well, the kick plays on the 1 and 3rd beat, and then the snare plays on the 2 and 4. And you can see here that my snares, this snare is on the grid, but then this snare is totally off grid, really like laid back. And I'm not looking to quantize much. The beauty of boom bap drums is the imperfections of the performance. So as you can see here, my snares are offline. It's just my kick that really I stuck to the grid, but then look at my hi-hats, like they're 8th notes, but like look how delayed they are and not how on the grid they are. So yeah, human feel is an incredible way to add bounce to a whole your production itself, right? Just to not make it sound all robotic and it's linear, right? So if we recombine the flute and the piano, really a solid foundation from here. And it's not boom bap if you don't have a bass sound. So let's listen to that bass. Let me mute. Yeah. And this is from like the Pro Tools library, full finger bass. I didn't touch much of it. I just played a bit with the attack and decay just to have a bit more of the feel of a bass, but really I did not touch much. I didn't even put any effects. Later on in the mixing, yes, I did add a bit more distortion, but that's it. Like, I really like the sound of it. It may sound amateur, but I don't know, it just fit in the context of this song. So combined together, we have all of these. Right. And you'll notice that the flute is panned right, and you can do that in the contact instrument library here with this panner. Don't forget to pan your stuff, guys. Panning will add just a space for the listener to understand how it works, right? My piano is on the left, flute is on the right, bass is in the center, drum is in the center. So yeah. All right. And then, so that's for the introduction. And then when I arrive in the pre-verse, when I start talking back from this shit talk voice that you would hear in the first intro, you will see I played this piano, but I didn't have in mind that I was going to do an introduction talk. I just was like, okay, well, I have how many bars now? I have 8 bars of just, this same instrumental, so let me add a different element. So I use the same instrument here, Hybrid Keys Muted Jazz, which is also the same sound that I use for the main chords. And then I played a melody a bit higher up I play in E4 in the 4th octave. And that's it. And with the echo that plays in this setting, it just dies out perfectly for the rapper to come in and do their verse. So verse 1 belongs to me. I knew that in this part I wanted to cut off the drums. So as a rapper, whatever you say in the first lines is quite important when there are moments of silence, right? So really, these are most of all the elements here. Now, at some point, just to add a bit of tension before we go on the hook, I added this choir also from the Contact 7 library. Just to add a bit of tension here, just to say, hey, a new part is coming, and then boom, we enter the hook section. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And really, that's it. And then Cokobe's verse comes in. Program these drums here. Look at these snare rolls. Yeah, so just to make it a bit interesting, once in a while in your drums, you can add different sounds. And what I like about the Akai MPC drum kit is that there are different sounds a bit whenever you play the pad. Okay, let's say you have your kicks, your snares. You see they have like this shaker, but mostly the one I used was the open hat or the snare roll here. We have a snare roll, and then there's an open hat right here that just adds a bit of bounce and a bit of ear candy to the listener, just so that they don't get used to the same rhythm all the time. And as well, so to talk about the structure, right? The intro has 4 instruments mainly. It's your drum, bass, piano, and flute. And then to add an introduction to the verse, well, I bring a new instrument, quote-unquote new instrument, or a new element in this case, which is the piano, high octave piano here. And then when you come to the verse, well, you want to give space to the rapper or performer or singer to have space to sing. So the way you do that is by removing some instruments, right? I didn't want this piano on top of me rapping. So just remove it, give the rapper some space to rap on. And the flute, I had to leave it there. It's like the identity of the song. It's what I guess most producers call the underlick, which is the melody that most people remember. So really, like, perfect. And then like I said, before we enter into the hook, I added this choir. And then when I introduce you to the first hook, well, it's the combination of all the instruments that I've presented to you. So 6 instruments combined all together. Oh, is that the police nose pass by? So it's when I introduce the hook or the chorus, well, it's your busiest part of the song. So you want to introduce all your musical elements here, right? So make it the most busy part of your song. I have the choir, I have the flute, I have the piano, high octave piano, the chords piano, the bass, and the drums, right? That's it. And to complete the whole beat, ambience. The ambient sound that I use here is a waterfall sound. And I mean, when you listen to the project of Life is Beautiful, you can hear, like, you just have this vision that, like, they're in nature and nice parts of nature where the mountains and lakes, everything looks pretty, right? So I wanted to recreate. So I was like, okay, well, let me take something that's beautiful. And I remember I had recorded in my phone in a previous trip where I went to Quebec, where I took the audio of Les Chutes Montmorency. So Montmorency Falls in English, where, yeah, I just recorded from my phone and then I imported that little, I think it was like 5 seconds of audio, and then I looped it throughout the song. You can barely hear it. Like, I have to boost my audio, but it doesn't play anything louder than minus 47.6 dB full scales. But if it's not there, the beat feels a bit empty and MIDI, right? If I can explain it that way, right? If I removed it, and then if I add it back, it's so subtle, but like I feel like it completes the beat and it adds a layer of depth that no one really hears or pays attention to. So don't be afraid to add textures and ambience. It really fills up the sound. Like the waterfall, here the vinyl plugin, the crackling is a texture sound, right? It's if I don't put this, well, the flute doesn't sound the same, the production doesn't sound lo-fi. So no, don't be afraid to dirty up your sounds or to add a bit of a mood and an ambience to create that ambience that you want, right? Like I was going for the feel of $1 million, like $1 million production, you know? Like when I listen to the project of Alchemist, Larry June, and 2 Chainz, I feel like I'm wearing an expensive fur coat. I feel like I'm in nature, meditating with, after all my successes and trials, I've made it, you know? It just feels like that. The album really feels like Life is Beautiful. So let me represent that with a beautiful waterfall sound, and put it in here. And the whole concept of this song too, when I started writing the lyrics to this song, I remember that the first thing that I was inspired about I was very nostalgic hearing this beat, and I wanted to rap about kind of my upbringing of where I came from and my struggles, a bit of the struggles that I went through in life, and that I'm slowly figuring it out, feeling like I made it, you know. I'm not really where I want to be, but I'm getting there. And the journey is getting more and more beautiful for me. So what better way to represent that by adding the right textures and sounds from the start, right? Get the inspiration right, and then everything else will place itself. So let's listen to the full beat. Yeah, sounds fantastic. And And then I introduced the choir here. Woo. And that's the whole beat. And then the chorus comes in. And that's the whole beat. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole beat. It's 6 instruments with 1 ambient sound. And that was enough for me to inspire writing the lyrics and then sending it off to my friend so then he can perform, and the rest is history. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys appreciated this beat breakdown. If you want to see a bit more detailed, if you have questions, please leave a comment, give me a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. Before I leave you guys, I do want to leave a little message. As someone who produces their music from A to Z, so from beat making to lyric composition to then performing and then mixing and then mastering, it's easy to overthink every process to try to facilitate every other process down the line, right? There were some sounds that I was hearing that I wanted to EQ, but I was like, no, that's not the purpose of my production, right? Because I'm not mixing, I'm looking to just make the beat just so I can have something that's inspiring enough for me to write. So just get your ideas out there as quick as you can. Jot it down, write it down, compose it, play it down, whatever, program your drum. And the sound quality, you can worry about that later, you know. I mean, if we compare let's say if we take the chorus, the hook section, if you listen to the hook section of the demo, and then versus the final instrumental that came out of the mix, I mean, for me, the difference is night and day. Like I can, all the instruments have more depth. The drums hit a bit harder. The lo-fi sound of the drums come out more, which makes the whole entire production more lo-fi. And then the choir makes it sound a bit more heavenly, adding that nature aspect. And really, it's just so beautiful, right? But that was a different process. That was when I came to mix. That was a different hat entirely that I wore and a different mindset that I had. So when you have the mindset of a beat maker, just stick to that. And then when you're done with that part, then you wear a different hat so that you can, I don't know, you're rapping, you're the songwriter, you write the lyrics, well, then you stick to that hat and then you write the whole lyrics, the whole song. And then once you're done, then you record and you're the rapper, the artist, the performer, whatever. You rap it, cool, everything's done. Once all of that done, then you go on the mixing phase and engineering phase of the whole project. There's a reason why actually all of these hats are worn by different people the higher up you go in level of production. But when you start out and you make everything on your own, well, make sure that whatever task you're assigned to do or whatever part you are doing, stick to that part and don't think about down the line. Like if you need to fix something down the line, fix it down the line. But in the moment, just focus on creating and pushing your ideas as much as you can right from the get-go. So that's my message to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and on to the next video. Peace.
I'm sure what VSP is about, you know?
Hot dog in the morning, bruh. Shit, died just to save a couple bucks. Foolish, if you thought my boy had lucky charms. Humble life had me skinny, poor man's tummy.